Many people here. Me da mucho gusto ver tanta gente de nuestra comunidad de West Chicago aquí. It's been a really hard time for our community the last few months. Ha sido un tiempo muy difícil para nuestra comunidad en estos meses. And this morning, what this is about is hearing from you guys. We'll each give a little brief introduction here, and then primarily we want to hear from the community. Nosotros vamos a dar una breve introducción y luego queremos escuchar de ustedes, de la comunidad. So I am Dan Bovey, mayor, and we have a couple of our council members, aldermen here. We have Alderman Alcantar Garcia and Alderman Santiago. And I don't know if you guys want to just introduce yourselves or say anything before I turn it over to Senator Villa and Representative Berkshire.
Just good morning to everyone. Buenos dias. I'm so glad for this turnout and we'll be receiving today. Nos vamos a escuchar hoy. Muy buenos días. Gracias por venir a esta reunión muy importante.
Igualmente, buenos días. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for letting us hear your opinions and your voice on this matter right now. Appreciate it. Muchas gracias.
And we also have Township Supervisor Sheila Rutledge here as well. So, Senator?
Yes, hello, everyone, and good morning. It is so wonderful to see all of your faces. For those who are in the room and those who are watching from home, I want to remind all of us who West Chicago is. West Chicago is one of the most loving communities in DuPage County. It's not the most loving. We come together and we've shown that. We come together when there's a family in need, when there's an apartment fire, and then another one, and then another one. We come together to celebrate when our beautiful mariachi is playing, or when our kids are dancing to Ballet Folklorico, or when our soccer team wins the state championship. We come together. We are a loving community. If we have the most amazing education system that is rooted with teachers that come from our community and teachers who don't come from our community, but who adore our community. We have restaurants and small business owners who contribute to the beauty of our community. We have factories who employ so many people, not just from West Chicago, but from around our community. This is a community that I stand proudly with. And I also stand proudly with defending people's rights and freedom. People's rights and freedoms of speech. And as Ms. Villa, school social worker, I want to remind all of us that words matter. And words have consequences. If words didn't matter, when someone says I love you to you, would it create that warm fuzzy inside? No. So words actually do matter. And so here today, we want to hear your words. We want to hear your message. I'm so thankful for all of you to be here, and I can't wait to hear what you all have to say to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. My name's Maura Hirschauer. I'm your state representative here in West Chicago, and I'm just so very proud to represent this community. Every single day when I go down to Springfield, I think about folks in West Chicago. And I think as I look around the room right now, I'm mostly looking at the kids who are here today, and their families who came on a Monday. And what I want to say to you is that Your feelings matters, your safety matters, the way you feel in school matters to all these different leaders up here, all levels of government. Believe that schools and our community should be a safe place for everybody to thrive. Because if you don't feel safe in your community, then you're not ready to learn. Your friendships can be affected. So I just thank all the families who came today, all the families who brought their kids here today. Because what I want you to take away from this is we're here to listen and take action. There's been a lot of listening lately, but I hope that we will leave this with some action. This is just the first of many conversations, right? One conversation doesn't heal a community or solve a problem. I think that we will come together, as Karina, so beautifully put it, as West Chicago does, and it will be, a litany of things that we do together to wrap our arms around our schools, our communities, and all the helpers who show up for us every single day. So thank you for having me here today, and I am ready to listen.
Voy a interpretar brevemente mis palabras, disculpe que no lo hice anteriormente. Estoy muy feliz de ver tantas caras aquí en la audiencia, de que están aquí con nosotros unidos para hacer que sus voces sean escuchadas. Les quiero recordar de quién somos cuando hablamos de la gente de West Chicago. Somos una comunidad de amor, una comunidad que se une en tiempos difíciles. Recuerden cuando hemos tenido a alguien enfermo de nuestra comunidad, inmediatamente a ver qué kermés hacemos para apoyarlos. Cuando hay un incendio en los apartamentos y después otro y después otro, ¿qué hacemos? A ver, vamos a llevar cobijas, vamos a llevar comida, ¿qué es lo que necesitan? Y ahí estamos con ellos, ¿verdad? Porque somos West Chicago, somos unidos. Y lo que les quiero decir es que estoy aquí para defender con fuerza el derecho de hablar y el debido proceso de la gente. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? Que así como defiendo el derecho de ustedes decir algo, voy a defender todo mundo en sus derechos, pero recordemos algo, que nuestras palabras tienen consecuencias. Las palabras tienen fuerza. Si no tuvieran fuerza, alguien que les diga, te amo, no te ibas a sentir bonito, ¿verdad? Si las palabras no importaban. Pero las palabras sí importan. Entonces, recuerden que las palabras también pueden y deben tener consecuencias. Estamos aquí para escuchar de ustedes y escuchar qué es lo que ustedes quieren para el futuro de West Chicago y cuáles son las acciones que podemos tomar moviendo hacia adelante. Entonces, el micrófono está abierto, sin miedo.
And I don't know if Julie, would you like to introduce yourself?
I am here to listen and to be in touch with what's going on with my community. And so for me, I think it's important to be here and to hear what everybody's got to say.
For folks in the hallway, there is some space on either side of us here if you want to come join us. There aren't a ton of chairs left, but there's plenty of space so you don't have to stand up there.
Some folks are sitting crisscross on the floor if anyone wants to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, kiddos. If you want to sit on the floor, give up your chair to an adult. I don't know if the teachers will love me or hate me for this, but our amazing teachers are here to give some words. So let's give them a warm up.
Good morning. My name is Deb Taylor. I am the president of the ETALK, which is the Elementary Teachers Association of West Chicago, so the teachers union. I'm Carrie Duffy, VP of ETALK. And we just wanted to share, we understand the anger and uncertainty that you are feeling right now. As teachers, we care deeply for the well-being of our students and our community. We are worried and saddened by the devastating effects of violent, threatening, and discriminatory actions in West Chicago and in our nation as a whole in recent times. We want to reassure you that our schools are a safe place for your children. We strongly believe that schools should be a safe place for every one of our students, regardless of race, ethnicity, or immigration status. I'm going to try my best to read this in Spanish, so bear with me. Comunidad y familias de Distrito 33, entendemos la ira y la incertidumbre que ustedes están sintiendo en este momento. Somos maestros a quienes nos importa profundamente el bienestar de nuestros estudiantes y de la comunidad. Estamos preocupadas y entristecidos por los efectos devastadores de las acciones violentas, amenazantes y discriminatorias en West Chicago y nuestra nación en general. En los últimos tiempos queremos asegurarles que nuestras escuelas son un lugar seguro para sus hijos. Creemos firmemente que las escuelas deben ser un lugar seguro para cada uno de nuestros estudiantes, sin importar su raza, etnicidad o estatus migratorio. And these are the words from the union. We want to be clear that this is not a statement from administration. This is a statement from ETOP.
I have questions.
Yes.
So I know that elected officials are here, and I might have missed it because I came in a little late. Is anyone from the board here today?
There's no one here from the school board. The school board has their own roles right now. We have to remember that every teacher is employed and represented and has a due process. Like I said earlier, we have to defend due process. That's what we have been asking for all of these people who have been taken by ICE. What have we been asking for? Due process, right? So we do need to make our opinions and voices heard, but we also need to respect the due process that is going on right now with this teacher. Go ahead.
And I think I understand that. I think it's just when things happen at school, there's usually school meetings that occur, right, to discuss what has happened or anything like that. In this case, from what I hear, it hasn't happened and they're not here with us today, correct?
We will make sure that if the will of this community is to go to a school board meeting, that we will do that. Every one of us, that could be one of the action items that comes from this group.
So we are, as the senator mentioned, in different roles here. And as mayor, as senator, as representative, we are not involved in the process that is occurring right now with the teacher in question. And so we are here because our community has some really strong feelings right now. We have feelings of outrage and frustration, and we get that. And we want to, as your elected representatives in each in our own sphere, do what we can to listen, first of all. And we are in contact, obviously, with the school and with the superintendent and so forth. We have conversations, but they have to be free to go through that process with them, which is why they're not here this morning and we are. And so I want to just reaffirm as well that, as the senator said, this is not an issue of having opinions, having political opinions, or expressing political opinions. Everyone, teachers included, can have political opinions and can express those things. The reason that we are here this morning is because our community is one that has been traumatized in the last 3 months, 4 months by the actions of ICE. And we have kids in the schools who have lost, in the school in question, we have kids who have lost a mom or a dad in recent months. We have kids who are having panic attacks at school, who are afraid that they will get home and their mom or their dad will not be there. And so the issue is not one of, can people have an opinion that is different than what the majority thinks or anything like that. The issue is that we have trusted adults who are the ones that care for those kids when they can't be with their mom and their dad. And so to have someone cavalierly rooting on as if it's a football game or something, yeah, go, events which have traumatized these children. That's the issue. And so as elected officials, as mayor of West Chicago, I believe that we have, as the senator mentioned, an extremely strong community, an extremely caring community. And we wanted to give you an opportunity to use your voice, to speak up, and right now there's so many strong feelings, and there's different ways that we can all respond. Yes.
I have a technical question because I'm getting some questions from people trying to join the live stream.
Thank
And
you.
they cannot find it without getting a link sent directly to them. So that may be an issue that it's not easily accessible.
We have, I believe on the,
I'll see if I can get the Facebook post amplified and get that up.
Okay, thank you.
is it on the city Facebook?
I believe it is, but I'll go back and
Group.
check. I know that I had asked that, maybe.
Perhaps point people to the City of West Chicago Facebook page is probably the best way. So going back to, yes, and if those of you that feel comfortable or able and want to come up to the front just to make it so that everybody can hear as much as possible, you're welcome to come up here, but you're welcome to speak from where you are if that's more convenient for you.
Prefer to stand, and I hope you can hear me. First, I'd like to thank all the teachers in 33 that have been supportive, and that made sure kids got on their buses safely and rode in the buses and have been so supportive. And the children, the students really do appreciate that, and the parents do too. I do not currently have a student in the school district, but my question is about the school district. I've looked on the website. I'm not finding anything about this on the district website. Has the district had any communication with the public? Have they had any communication with parents? Have there been emails that have gone out to the general public? That I'm not on that email list because I don't have a student right now, but I care about students. So I looked on the website and I'm not finding any information, and I'm not casting any blame. I'm just letting you know that we want information. We want to know what is the district doing about this? What is the process? What is the due process? And I can look it up before we all leave. I hope we all know when the next board meeting is that we can all attend, and that we all try to attend that meeting. So I'm more from an information perspective, that I wish I knew what the district was thinking, what the district was saying to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure if there's a public facing email, but some of the parents, I think I saw you nodding your heads. Does anyone want to respond to the internal communication?
As a disciplinary parent, we got emails at when he put in his resignation, but then that was the date of the board meeting.
He's resigned.
No, that's the message we got, is that he put in his resignation, which was the day of the board meeting, which was Thursday. So a lot of people, I think that's why a lot of parents did not show up to that meeting, because we have that notification that he put in a resignation letter. And then the next day, we found out that he withdrew before he was voted. I guess the board has to vote when staff member puts a resignation letter in, or
So he
I didn't know how that went about,
Yeah.
but
He resigned. And then he rescinded his resignation. So that means that he's still a teacher at C-33.
we were notified that
They
he
had
was
to,
teaching Monday.
they had to accept the rescindment of his resignation.
So he's not on leave.
No, we were told as parents, so I'm a Gary parent, and we were told that he would be teaching on Monday.
I think it should be noted too that in the Spanish email, it didn't say that he rescinded his resignation, only that he had resigned.
But there was a few emails.
Secondary.
There was a second email. There were two different emails. So I do agree that this is a good point to bring up to the board meeting about community-wide feedback. So we are taking notes, our staff is taking notes to make sure that we have what we're gonna go back to the school district with, but I saw another hand, yes.
Yeah, just to be clear, yeah, the schools are very good. They have a communication with parents where, and right away, we got a message from the superintendent. And then we also got a message from the principal, kind of confirming it all. And then when the resignation was rescinded, we got that communication also. Yeah, so there's been very, as fast as things have been happening.
Sure.
The school community's been notified, but I think that's an excellent point that the greater community would like to know about this also. And I wasn't aware if anything had been communicated out there, but it sounds like nothing has, so.
And I think that this is an opportunity for organization, because we do need to bring this feedback to the board. So what we're here to do today, I think, is to listen and to organize the feedback, so when the board meeting happens, a group like this can be there to make their feelings known.
My name is Katie Walker. I happen to be in a very unique position. I used to be the art teacher at Gary School, and I work with these kids, and I volunteer with them every chance that I get, because I just can't let them go, even though I'm not their teacher anymore. I show up for this community in West Chicago because I love those kids, and because the kids are all our kids. We gotta take care of them, and I'm so happy to see Gary School students here today. I love that. It makes me so incredibly proud of them. One thing that I do want to say that I think is incredibly important is there's a lot of people that don't work in school districts that are unaware of how school districts work. And I think this is an opportunity too. We're in those emails with parents and hopefully the communities that there's more transparency. Just kind of explaining like why these decisions are being made. Maybe there's legal rules that they have to follow. And so I think that there also would be a good chance to provide clarity of how that works. I think a lot of people were confused that how things need to be approved with the Board of Education. And I think so some transparency and explanation in that could provide a lot of clarity. Also I think transparency needs to be had with, can this teacher be placed on leave while an investigation happens? What does that look like? What can the board do in that sense? What can we not do? And then I guess another question that I might have is if we were to collectively kind of make a community statement to the Board of Education at a board meeting. I understand that there probably has to be changes to their agenda and to allow for public comments. And how do we go about doing that? Would you be advocates for the community in that sense if that was wanted? Because ultimately the choice comes down to the board. And as much as I think that this is amazing, I'm so happy that our elected officials and community members are here to hear what the community has to say. The board is the most important people who understand. We need to understand our feelings about this. And so how do we get a chance to speak to them directly?
That's all amazing points, and thank you for being here. There is a petition circulating online that people can sign that would let the board know. A petition is a really easy way to get, if we get a ton of names on that petition, it really does make an impact. Is there anyone here who has information on how people can access that petition? Is it circulating via link?
Change.org.
a change.org petition. So, the best way we can,
We'll put it on our individual Facebook pages.
yeah, we can put links to it on our social media so that, you can share, via social media. So that's
Created this petition. There's a couple petitions out there and I
Okay.
just want to know if this petition is specifically to have a meeting with the board or just a more generalized petition. I made a petition and I.
All the petitions. Good point. The other,
That's.
yes, the other part of it is really, really important about the school board.
Yeah.
How does the school board get there?
Because we vote.
They run for office and they get voted in, okay? So that makes them public servants as well, just like us. They're elected officials, just like us,
Yeah.
right? The school board is different, for example, than the three of us. Well, than the two of us. You have your council. He has his council. The school board can't vote, like one school board member can't get up and say, this is what we're gonna do. It's the board of 7, so all 7 of them have to agree on what's happening. I'm a state senator and sure, I need help from other senators to pass bills, but I can stand up and speak to my district because I'm the only senator in this district. Same with Representative Hirschauer, right? So you are absolutely right that the school board needs to hear our voices. Go ahead.
I was gonna, every school board member should have an email address. And that's other information, we can help make available to the public, because those emails really do matter. Emailing the school board is important. And the school board meets on the 1st and 3rd Thursdays of every month. So the next school board meeting is February 5th, I believe.
Yes. I think we had a question or a comment down here in the front, and then just one thing I want to say is that we're kind of improvising here. This is all thrown together quickly, so we'd like to provide translation. And if there's maybe somebody that would be willing to volunteer to help with translation this morning, that would be very helpful. Is there anybody that would be willing to help us out with that? I know there's a lot of people here that could do that. Julieta, okay, thank you. Queremos, bueno, estamos, organizamos esto muy rápido y necesitamos traducir y no tenemos a alguien pues que estaba preparado para hacer esto. Entonces, la concejala Alcántara García puede hacer esto, pero quiero que todos sientan confianza de hablar en español también. Pueden hacer sus comentarios o sus preguntas. But I think, yeah, we have one right
Yeah, I
there.
just wanted to say, I'm a parent of Gary. I've spoken multiple times with the principal, there over the last few days, and just kind of like more address her original question. I think that there is a little bit of lack of information because of like legal purposes, since both parties are now under legal representation. So I think there could be more transparency of just about like what happened and what is being done, but we're not gonna get as much information as we would.
I can do it. So lo que se dijo fue de que quizás lo que está sucediendo ahorita, porque ha estado hablando con la directora de la escuela Gary, quizás lo que está sucediendo, la razón que no hay más información hacia el público es porque los dos grupos ahora tienen sus abogados, o sea, el maestro, al igual que el distrito escolar. Entonces, cuando empiezan los abogados, hay que ver un poco más de discreción en la información que se está compartiendo.
I want to kind of restate what I think I've been hearing so far, and you can tell me if this is right, but I'm hearing a lot of people that I think are saying, yes, we agree due process needs to happen, we trust for that to happen, but we just want we want more communication about what that process is. And we want more of a transparent explanation of what that process is. Am I
Yeah.
hearing that correctly? Yo creo-
Information about, go ahead.
So these conversations are great and all, and I'm glad to see so many people out here today. But this conversation, I think, is just a kind of a distraction because you're talking about due process, and that sounds like such a joke to me. Where is the due process for all the people that are being kidnapped on the streets? So if you want to go on a witch hunt, that's great, as long as it keeps our children safe out of the hands of someone who is cheering on them being kidnapped by the secret police. Sure, yeah. We can talk about that. That's great.
Give me 2 seconds for interpretation.
Sure.
Estamos hablando de un proceso para esta persona, pero al mismo tiempo nuestra gente y nuestros niños no están mereciendo el mismo proceso, entonces es algo ridículo que estemos hablando sobre esto, es una distracción cuando a nuestra gente no se le está respetando el debido proceso.
So in a way, you're
Identify who you are.
sorry.
Could you identify your role in the
Yeah. So I work for a local nonprofit focused on immigrant rights.
Is that a great solidarity?
Yes, that's right. Yes,
Do you have children in West Chicago School District?
I do not know.
Okay, that's helpful to know.
Okay, thank you. So in a way, we can talk about this, but it just kind of solidifies in my mind that we are indeed second-class citizens because our rights are secondary to those of others in the community. It's hard for me to imagine that children feel safe when they see a police officer in their school, a police liaison, and perhaps in that same police department, they are seeing, I know no one will admit to it, but I start being seen at police stations. We see it in the community. We're not forgetting this. So it's kind of hard to trust any of you when you're allowing the secret police to use your bathrooms, as you say. We don't trust you. We don't believe you. But in any case, sorry, go ahead.
El señor dice que no confía en lo que estamos haciendo porque han visto que el ICE está en los estacionamientos de la policía y otros lugares, les permiten usar los baños, todas estas cosas. Él no tiene hijos aquí, pero han visto muchas cosas y que están intimidados a los niños de que están estos oficiales enmascarados aquí.
And I don't want anyone to think that my experience is less than because I don't have children in this town. I have worked with children. I have worked in schools. I have seen so many distraught mothers, and I've held them in my arms crying because their husband was taken and they don't know how they're going to get their food. They don't know how they're going to get their children to school. They don't know if they're going to see their husband ever again or that if their children will ever see their father again.
Entonces, no quiere que minimicemos sus palabras nada más porque no tiene niños aquí, pero él ha visto cómo ha llorado mamás, esposas, cuando se llevan al esposo al que está encargado de la casa. Es muy triste que estas personas ahora no pueden conseguir comida, conseguir el sustento o el ingreso que tenían cuando se llevan al jefe de la casa.
So if you want to focus on these issues at the school district level, that's fine. School districts are always going to be covering their butts. We all know it. It's okay. But this conversation seems very limited use, in my opinion, if we're not talking about this at a much bigger level.
Thank you so much.
Es muy él piensa que esta conversación así está bien que estemos dejando al distrito trabajar, pero él siente que necesitamos hacer mucho más, no nada más contar con lo que está pasando en el distrito.
I want to thank you for coming here today. Our purpose was to create a space for people to share their feelings, and we have some other.
Yeah, I think we all agree with what you were just saying, but there's nothing that we can do about the federal level. We're helpless. The only thing that we can do is look out for our community. You know, this teacher, we can't exercise our democratic rights to vote to have this person removed. That's all we can do. We can't stop ICE from coming to our communities. They're horrifying, but we can do what we can with our own community. So I think that we found the right solution. Go to the board meeting, exercise our democratic rights to be a community and to say, hey, this person his values are not aligned with the values of our community. And so we have the ability to collectively say that through our school district board, and then legally, that I'm sure they have the right, what we would hope they have the right, to go ahead and ask this person to find a community that's more aligned with their beliefs. You know, if somebody came into an African-American community and said, go KKK, you know, in their schools, that person doesn't have any business there. If somebody goes into a predominantly Jewish school district and says, yay Nazis, that person doesn't belong there. So that person has his right to his opinion. He can express it however he wants, but he can do it within another school community, not ours.
Could everyone identify themselves when they speak?
Yeah, my name is Christina Berry Crane. I grew up in West Chicago. I recently come back. I was a teacher in the district for a while. Yeah, I have deep roots in this community over decades. My parents moved here in 1977, so I have a lot. I've seen a lot, and hopefully, you know, I have hope that this community will come together. I came back to West Chicago because it is as great as, you know, you guys are saying that, you know, it is great.
Ella dice que en parte está de acuerdo con el señor que vino a hablar hace poquito, pero el problema es que no tenemos apoyo del federal para nada. Entonces, como medio comunitario, a mediante de nosotros tenemos que actuar. Y la manera de hacerlo es democráticamente, con lo que estamos haciendo ahorita, ir a las reuniones de la Junta Escolar para expresarnos todos nuestro sentir en esto. Por ejemplo, otro ejemplo que dio ella, no vamos a ir a una comunidad donde hay nuestros hermanos negros, la persona que vaya a decir, viva KKK, eso no queremos gente así en la comunidad o trabajando con ellos, ¿verdad? Con los niños. También, un ejemplo fue, no van a ir a una escuela donde hay familias judías a decir, vivan los nazis. Eso duele a esa comunidad. Entonces, estas personas, pues sí, realmente no deberían de estar en un plantel donde están educando a niños como los nuestros.
Hello, my name is Parker Thomas and I'm in third grade at Gary. My gym teacher was one of my favorite teachers. This whole thing makes me so sad. It makes me sad that he likes us and said some things I might have made my classmates feel not safe. I don't want someone who feels that way in my school because I want all my friends to feel and be safe. I'm happy that there will be an investigation. Hope all is done to help have my friends safe. And I hope his feelings will still, even though he does support us, I still don't want his feelings to be hurt. I just want him to just not be in school because that might not make some of my friends feel safe. Thank you.
Está preocupado de que esté un maestro allí, sus compañeros, amiguitos, tienen miedo ahora con las expresiones que dio este maestro, realmente él quiere que la escuela haga sus investigaciones, sí, pero que escuche que él lo que quiere es que todos sus amistades y estudiantes se sientan bien, que no sientan bien.
I just want to take 1 second, Parker, that was amazing. Thank you for speaking out and thank you for sharing your feelings. And I just want us all to hold on to the feeling that Parker gave us, right? And that's why we're here. We're here to listen and to make sure that all your friends are feeling safe at school. So you really centered our conversation back to where it belongs. Thank you, Parker. Thank you, Parker.
En parte dice, le dio las gracias al niño porque realmente él nos trajo para atrás a lo que estamos tratando de hacer. Y esos sentimientos es lo que se trata esta reunión de todos nosotros. Tratar de que nuestros estudiantes se sientan bien.
If I can follow Parker without crying. Hurt. My goodness.
You're not alone.
My name's Holly Zen and I'm a parent in the district. I don't have children at Gary, but in other D33 schools. But I've been gathering over the weekend questions from Gary parents who cannot be here because of work, or because they are keeping their kids home and keeping other Gary parents' children with them as well. So I have a few concerns and questions that I've gathered from them that I just want to raise. I really appreciate what you shared about like legal limitations of sharing information. Not that there's not necessarily the will to share information more transparently. Sometimes it's not appropriate and we can keep asking. And I think to hear back, like we can't share that information yet because that is very helpful. Yeah.
Ella está aquí, ella es normal en las escuelas, no en Gary, pero ella viene a hablar con muchos papás que no pudieron venir, tiene preguntas a traer, a traer, y están preocupados por lo que está pasando en Gary School.
Thank you. Some concerns that I've heard from parents at Gary that I share is that we don't want to have this teacher be the focus of news. And we don't want to let our collective frustration, outrage, to also draw back national attention that would actually put our community at greater risk again than it is today. So as we make decisions about what we want to do, how we want to stand in solidarity, how we want to speak out, please let's be mindful of that we not actually inadvertently cause greater harm to our immigrant neighbors.
Una preocupación de ella y otros papás es de que ojalá no estemos haciendo muy grande esta noticia y así estemos atrayendo federalmente a esto que está pasando aquí. No queremos que provocar la situación de que el federal decida actuar como ha estado actuando. Entonces, sí hablar de estas cosas, pero que no sea el enfoque de las noticias.
And then there's concern certainly about why this teacher is still at school. So if the district can share some information about the limitations they have there, but also concern about what access he has to student information. And if there's any way to limit that while I don't know what to call it, investigation or proceedings are moving forward.
No se entiende bien por qué este maestro sigue ahí, tal vez que explique el distrito cuál es el impedimento para hacer cualquier cosa. Y la otra preocupación es que tendrá este maestro información personal de estos estudiantes. ¿Cómo poder evitar que él tenga acceso a la información de estos estudiantes?
And then lastly, I really want to say that I appreciate that Mayor Bovey already immediately reached out and spoke to the teacher one-on-one and voiced your own concerns. I think that you've had or have children at Gary as well. So I really appreciate that and sharing with him about why it's harmful. And I want to ask that all of you and all of us continue to share with each other our ideas for how we can be helpful as we take an action in response to what is happening, not just this incident, but what is happening. What are things that we can do that are actually helpful?
Fue muy bueno ver que el alcalde Bovey respondió, interrogando y preguntarle a este maestro porque sus acciones, él tiene estudiantes ahí, y también, ¿qué podemos hacer? Nada más, no nada más en este caso, ¿qué podemos hacer para ayudar a la comunidad, nosotros, como comunidad?
And I will say one last thing, sorry for taking so much time. From my heart, I don't believe that we are helpless, even at the national scale. This week, the Senate is voting on whether or not to continue and add additional funding for ICE. We should be calling our senators, and we should be calling our friends and community across the country and pleading with them, explaining to them what is happening in our community and asking them to call their senators on both sides of the aisle to not pass the funding. There are things that we can do. Today, I am also making a donation in honor of this incident to a local West Chicago organization that serves immigrants. There are things we can do that make a real difference for our everydayers and our community.
Ella, opina que no estamos sin esperanza nacionalmente. Hay cosas que podemos hacer como llamar a nuestros senadores y congresistas. Ahorita está bill, que quiere más fondos para la migra, lo que están haciendo, y podemos presionar a nuestro Senado a que voten por. Entonces, podemos hacer eso, muchas cosas también. Ella va a donar algo a una organización aquí en West Chicago, precisamente ayudando a nuestra gente más vulnerable.
I want to respond briefly to one of the questions. So remember, we don't have a lot that we can do in regards to the federal level aside from calling our congresspeople. Delia Catalina Ramirez is your congressperson, in case you're wondering. She's a boss and she's a champion and she's the best defender of democracy that we have. At the state level, we have passed bills to protect students in schools. Did we know that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the safe schools bill. So the question of the data. That bill protects our students. Even if he were to have access, if we were to show that he maliciously used and gave information from our families, we would be able to respond with lawsuits. So that data is private, it is kept safe. We don't collect data on immigration status of any families. Okay, so our students in West Chicago are safe. And that information that he has, if you were ever to use it, it would just not go well for him. So I see we have another amazing speaker in front of us. So go ahead, young man. Give us your name first.
My name is Sebastian Munoz. I grew up living in West Chicago. And when my parents told me about how a PE teacher in Gary was supporting ICE, it just made me feel sad for other kids there, that if they don't feel safe, then why would they go? Because if they're supporting ICE, then and they know that there could be some immigrants there, they could take out information from children and just give it to ICE to ICE, and it just makes me feel sad, because if kids were just being taken out of school or kidnapped and then sent back to the country where they came from, and because I kind of felt a little heartbroken for that. So I just think that supporting ICE is not the best. It's pretty much the worst thing that could ever happen in this nation. Because America is supposed to be a free country, but it's getting worse.
I
I
wanna,
don't know.
I wanna say a few things to you about that fear. Okay, so a few things about the fear is that I wanna remind you that there are leaders in West Chicago that really do care. I wanna remind you that one time that ICE was here in West Chicago. Ever since that day, that was September 15th, okay? Ever since September 15th, Monday through Friday, at 10 o'clock every single day, there's a group of 30 leaders from the community, including the schools, every single day, Monday through Friday, who get on a call to talk about anything that has to do with ICE in West Chicago. We have this like magical little blanket over West Chicago. We are here together, united, okay? This is the action of one person. This is the action of one person, but the majority of the people, the majority of our teachers and our leaders in this community are wrapping a nice big bubble hug around West Chicago to make sure that we're continuing to keep families safe here, okay? Sorry for all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sebastián comentó que él está muy triste por los comentarios del maestro apoyando a esta organización. Y él está muy decepcionado. Le rompe el corazón oír que porque lo peor que puede hacer ahorita cualquier persona es apoyar a la migra. Entonces él está muy triste y preocupado de que puedan llegar por información que les vaya a dar, llegar y llevarse a los estudiantes, compañeros de él. Es muy triste y tiene miedo. La senadora acaba de explicar también anteriormente que hay legislaciones ya que pasaron en el estado de Illinois protegiendo la información de nuestros estudiantes que no los pueden compartir. En el hecho de que se descubra que está compartiendo la información de los estudiantes, esa es una ley que ha quebrantado y podemos ir en contra de él o cualquier persona que lo haga con todo la ley. Yo también comento que hay una organización, una cobija sobre todos estos estudiantes en esta comunidad que están organizando maestros, gente de la comunidad, líderes, y estamos pendientes, están pendientes de todos ustedes. Entonces, sepan que no están solos, nadie.
Hello,
It's not
No, is it- oh,
amplification,
it's-
but it is on camera, yes.
Hey, I need to know all the information. My name is Lauren Wolf. I am a parent of a student at Gary and a few other district schools. For context, I guess. If there's any doubt in anyone's mind, I would just like to reiterate that the kids and their families have experienced and are experiencing real trauma that they have to deal with daily. I mean, and I feel like maybe there might be people who don't understand that and that what a difference that makes. And that the effects.
Ella es una mamá de estudiantes en la Gary y ella vino a expresar que hay muchas familias y otros estudiantes que están traumatizados por todo esto que está pasando. Y tal vez hay personas que no entienden este hecho, que están traumatizando a esas familias por todo lo que está pasando.
And so obviously I want school policies to be followed and the school board to follow any rules they have to, but it should be known that those words are a break of trust that is absolutely critical in the school, that trust has been broken and kids do not feel safe, which means they aren't safe.
And then also I would, as far as meeting with school board or sending information, I think it would be important to make sure there's a way for people to submit anonymous comments or questions just because of the nature of the situation, and the people who are most affected are probably the least able to reach out. And those are the voices that matter the most, might be the ones that come in anonymously.
Ella
Meet with the school
expresó,
board.
ella expresó que entiende el sistema que hay que seguir el proceso, pero también hay la confianza ya se quebrantó. Los niños no se sienten seguros y al no sentirse seguros, entonces no están seguros. Ella quiere que sí, si vamos a las reuniones de la Junta de Educación, está muy bien, pero que haya la posibilidad de que comente gente anónimamente, especialmente si son familias más vulnerables.
Good morning. We are here on behalf of World Relief. We work with many families and students in the district and are concerned about the impact of this unguarded comment on vulnerable families and children, including and beyond Gary. While we fully support the role of immigration enforcement to contain violent criminals, we have deep concerns about the overreach in our neighborhoods in Chicago and beyond.
Ella viene de la organización World Relief. Ella está acá hablando de este tema. Ellos apoyan el proceso que tiene ICE para remover a gente que son criminales que realmente no tienen por qué estar aquí, pero recientemente con lo que está pasando, esto es preocupante porque no están haciendo policía como es.
We have deep concerns about the overreach in our neighborhoods in Chicago and beyond that is resulting in traumatization for families, including law-abiding residents. We are here to partner with the district and town to identify how we can best support our vulnerable neighbors.
Estamos aquí es porque estamos preocupados. Toda esa quebrantura del proceso en Chicago y aquí, y ellos quieren venir a tratar de asistir al distrito con estos temas.
Families are already fearful of going about their daily lives normally, including sending their children to school and after-school activities. This season has been a traumatizing time for so many children, and we urge the district to resist the temptation to get drawn into polarized politics, but instead to take a measured, thorough approach that ensures the safety of the children and those in our communities who are most at risk in the forefront of our actions and decisions.
Hay muchas familias traumatizadas ahora, los niños también. Las pólizas que las acciones que ha hecho estas instituciones de la migra, están viviendo mucha gente, están siendo muy perjudicados.
Our foremost concern is for the security of students and families' information who might be at risk of immigration actions, ensuring that those staff and teachers who have access to that information are safe and trusted individuals who prioritize the well-being of their charges. This is so important to create and maintain safe and trustworthy spaces for children to be able to learn and thrive. We at World Relief are available to support any efforts to identify how best to safeguard the needs of these children in this particular moment and are grateful for this time of listening and consideration.
La preocupación más grande es la información que tienen personas así de nuestros estudiantes. Eso es lo que más preocupación hay. porque se puede usar para en contra de las familias más vulnerables. Ellos quieren asistir en la organización World Relief quiere asistir a las escuelas y a nuestra comunidad con estas causas. Thank you.
My name is Samantha Munoz. I am a student from Lehman Middle School. I'm attempting to do Spanish and English today. I don't know where to start. It is very frustrating that West Chicago is filled with immigrants. This whole country is built on immigrants and it's filled with immigrants. If it wasn't for like any of us, there wouldn't be all of this. And it's frustrating that that teacher can have freedom of speech. Something must be done because when he gets the freedom of speech, he thinks it's okay expressing, oh, go ICE, go kidnap people, go separate families. You are a teacher. This is cruel and unfair to everyone, and it's an uncomfortable position to put a student in. And it's frustrating because when I was in elementary school, I didn't know anything about ICE because that wasn't the country I lived in at the time. Like, I went to Turner and it was great there. But now that I'm seeing that Gary, a school that a lot of kids go to for bilingual education, now they have a teacher that supports what they're doing to all of the people in this city. It is frustrating and unfair to everyone in general. And my mom, she wouldn't be happy. I'm really nervous. My mom wouldn't, or my dad, they wouldn't be happy if I was surrounded by someone who was okay with everything going on. And talking from a Mexican American, I am frustrated that like everything is going on right now and that technically there is something we can do, we can speak out, but when that happens, what happens? In example, Minnesota, 2 people have died because of ICE. And what has happened? No actions toward the person involved. It is frustrating that this can happen in Illinois. And it's frustrating that we can't do anything about it. Like we can, but we can't. We can only speak. At least we can't. If we talk, then we are shut down immediately. We are heard. We don't have freedom of speech. And like the Pledge of Allegiance, oh, it's like we are the country of the free. No, we're not. You are using, I'm trying to find my words. They're controlling us. They're not letting us use our freedom. They're not letting us talk or speak or even actions. Because if we say one word that they don't like, we're like gone. And we can't do anything about it. And it's frustrating that this teacher is saying all these things when he gets freedom of speech, but we don't. Because we look like this and we talk like this and we do this, we eat like this. It's frustrating that we can't have a say. And it's okay that he says all that because he's a grown adult and that he can have his freedom of speech. But when you're a child and you think you don't have anything good to say and you feel like you need to shut up and be quiet and that because he's a grown adult, he can do whatever he wants. No. And I think I'm talking here today to show kids they can speak up for their rights. They need to. Because whether we like it or not, we need to speak. We need to be the ones that make the change. Thank you.
I'm gonna speak in Spanish, but I wanna say something first. your passion and that power that you have in your voice. You mentioned a lot of times, what can we do? We can't do anything, and we're being silent. The opposite of that is what's happening in this moment. The opposite of that. We want your voice. We need your voice. When I was your age, and I went to the middle school that was called the junior high. Your dad went to the junior high too, I think. Not the middle school, it wasn't called the middle school that time. We never had someone that looks like you, y alguien que hablaba como tú, y alguien que comía la comida que tú comes como senadora estatal. Y la razón que ahora lo tienen es por la voz del pueblo, por los votos del pueblo. So, tu voz no es algo que se debe de callar nunca. Y ese dicho de que calladita te ves más bonita, ojalá y nunca nadie te diga esas palabras. Porque tu voz importa. Porque las palabras importan. Y tu voz es más fuerte que la voz de ese maestro. ¿Sabes? Sí. Tu voz importa.
Ponemos algo, todo. No critican. ¿Okay? No critican. I'm really nervous right now.
You got it.
You got to say I'm ¿Dónde empezar? Es tanto de platicar de esta situación y de ese maestro que dijo esas cosas, de go Ace, que todo está bien, critica a todos, mata a todos, como, ¿por qué tenemos que vivir así? Estar asustados de ir afuera, de salir a comer, a jugar, a ser niños. Y ese maestro no está enseñando lo que debe de hacer un maestro. Debe de proteger nosotros. Debe de decirnos, está bien, ayudarnos, apoyarnos, ayudarnos con la tarea, con un examen. No decir, espero que ganan tu mamá. Espero eso, espero. Pero es frustrante que él puede decir eso, pero nosotros no tenemos esa voz para decir lo que nosotros queremos. Porque si digamos algo, pues no es justo para nosotros y para todos. Es muy frustrante que ese maestro puede decir lo que él quiera y no lo regaña ni nada. Algo tiene que pasar para cambiar estos chiquitos cosas, puede cambiar mucho. Que personas escuchan esta historia, que ellos saben que no vamos a parar la pelea, que vamos a hacer algo, que tenemos que hablar, que tenemos que gritar, tenemos que hacer algo, es lo que estoy tratando de decir. Y algo tiene que pasar a ese maestro. No es yo tengo un prima que va a una de las escuelas de District 33. Ella se ve mexicana, es mexicana, y con gusto es mexicana. Pero yo no quiero que ella vaya a estas escuelas asustada, pensando que algo puede pasar a ella. No quiero eso. Yo la amo con todo mi corazón. Y un día estoy asustada que algo puede pasar a ella. Tiene 9 años. No es justo para ella ir a la escuela asustada, nerviosa, pensando, ¿mi mamá va a estar en la casa cuando regreso? No está bien. Lo que están haciendo ahorita nunca va a estar bien.
I'll just shout. That's hard to follow up, but I'm so glad that our students are here. I am Aranza Sparks and I am a community member. I live in the neighborhood. I have a child in the school, not at Gary. And I also teach at a school, so I don't leave the 5 mile radius of my house. Yo soy Aranza Sparks y soy una maestra en la comunidad y vivo aquí en la comunidad. Mi hijo va a una de las escuelas del distrito 33, no es en Gary, pero el preescolar. Y quería comentarles que a pesar de que ahorita nos estamos enfocando en que hay un maestro que apoya a la migra y que tiene esos pensamientos, y no es el único en esta comunidad, tristemente, también les quiero recordar que muchísimas de las maestras y maestros apoyamos a nuestros estudiantes. O sea, yo también estoy triste porque él dijo eso, porque yo veo a mis estudiantes todos los días y si han visto la foto de Liam, que tiene niño de 5 años que tiene el gorrito de conejito, esos son mis estudiantes. Yo enseño kinder y son así chiquitos, así de lindos. Entonces, al ver esa foto, sí me rompió el corazón, la verdad, porque yo sé qué es lo que está pasando en esta comunidad. I am a kindergarten teacher, so when I saw the picture of Liam with his little bunny ears, hat, those are my students. I literally teach Liams all around. And it breaks my heart, but I want to say that as much as there are teachers who support eyes in our schools, and this one being like one that was bold enough to say something, there are also so many other staff members who are just ready to go to bat for our students. And I just wanted to say that because I'm on maternity leave, so I am talking as a private, as an individual. And I just wanted to say that. I also wanted to say and encourage that we're not helpless. We can email the board. I think the email is d33board@weco.
I have it.
What is it?
Okay, you go to wego33.org, go to the website. On the left-hand side, it will say school board. Click on school board, and then someone did something right at admin. There's one address that will go to all members.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is go to wego33.org, school board, and then you'll see the address. Click on the address, it'll take you right into an email. So really easy cheesy, good on them that they made it easy for everybody. So it'll go to every board member. So try to do that, even if it's just one sentence, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption.
No, that's great. And you can also email, of course, the school directly and the assistant principal and all that good stuff. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Y lo que dijo es que para los que quieren enviar un email al consejo de las escuelas que van what's the website again? One more time.
It's wego33.org.
A este sitio de web, wego33.org, y ahí a la mano izquierda hacen clic y hay un lugar donde pueden enviar un email que va a todos los miembros del consejo.
My name is Audrey. I am the parent of a daughter at Lehman, so in District 33. And I'm scared. I'm scared for her safety. I'm scared for all of the students' safety. Many Americans are waking up to violence and hatred that we were unaware of before now. Some of us are merely a few steps ahead, only recently baptized into the witness and experience of raw and commissioned hostility. And finally, listening to those who have known it their entire life.
Ella es mamá de estudiante en Lille y ella está aquí expresando su preocupación también. Ha estado viendo muchas cosas que están aterrorizando a los estudiantes.
Our community weathered 3 months of terror this fall. We watched our neighbors be grabbed, stuffed into unmarked cars, and never seen again. And then the truth quietly came out. No criminal records whatsoever. Government leaders claim that they're removing the worst of the worst, yet their data reveals the truth They are lying to the American people and to the watching world.
Hemos estado viendo cómo levantan a la gente y los meten a carros y los desaparecen, diciendo que son criminales. Y cuando revisan los datos y la información, ninguno de los que han estado levantados aquí en Chicago es un criminal.
But the truth actually gets worse. There are people trying to follow the protracted, lengthened, broken legal process in our country. They are picked up at their check-ins. They are picked up at their hearings. People with temporary protective status, over 1 million people now, have lost their status by no action of their own but the president's pen. And each of these countries, we have what is it called? A travel advisory. Almost all of them level 4. That's the highest travel advisory in the system of democracy. We are, in effect, our government is telling these people to go back to these countries when we don't want our own people there because it's too dangerous.
Estas personas también han sido levantadas cuando están cumpliendo con sus deberes. Van a sus cortes, a sus procedimientos y ahí los levantan y se los llevan. También ha estado el país aconsejando que pueden regresar a sus países cuando sabemos muy bien que en sus países no son seguras. Aunque se han ido de sus países por el peligro que hay, existe ahí.
But I want to bring my message to the president. Bullets command the attention of us all, and blood in cars and on pavement make each of us stop and confront the hard truth that's pierced through cold, motionless bodies.
Quiero traernos al presente que las balas dejan la brutalidad.
La sangre y las balas han penetrado a través del pavimento y eso nos ha despertado a lo que está pasando.
My teenage sons were a few blocks from the shootings on Saturday. They arrived before the ambulance did.
Mis hijos estaban en unos bloques de el tiroteo más reciente y ellos vieron todo lo que pasó.
My sons have had the unique opportunity, my teenage sons, to watch really up close as history unfolds. If you saw Gregory Vivino throwing tear gas on Wednesday, if you saw an agent pepper spraying a protester lying on the ground pinned by 3 other agents, you were seeing my son's footage. They have watched agents break down doors with no warrant. They have seen them drag fathers away while the young children screamed, and they've watched cyclists be grabbed and tackled to the ground and hauled away.
Sus hijos de ella están ahí documentados todo lo que hacen, los tiroteos, las violencias, cómo tiran a gente en sus bicicletas al piso, los brutalizan.
My sons have been threatened repeatedly by agents who denied their First Amendment rights to publicly record from a safe distance.
Sus hijos han sido amenazados también, porque les impiden poder grabar lo que está pasando.
They've been repeatedly tear gassed and pepper sprayed for doing nothing wrong. The law appears to do nothing. Due process is gone.
Los hijos les han aventado químicas a ellos, les han hecho cosas y también las leyes, la ley federal en este país no les está ayudando para proteger.
So I called my sons on Saturday, finally heard their voice. And the first thing they said was, that could have been us. And I couldn't breathe because I knew that could have been them.
Sus hijos, ella habló con sus hijos el sábado. Y dijeron sus hijos, pudimos haber sido nosotros. Y ella como mamá, pues destrozada, ¿verdad?
Our community has had enough. America has had enough. We must do all we can to protect all of our people. District 33's theme this year is all in. All of us must be all in.
El lema del distrito 33 es todos estamos unidos, todos adentro. Tenemos que protegernos, tenemos que ayudarnos mutuamente en estos momentos. Debemos estar más unidos.
When one suffers, we all suffer. And as author Robin Wall Kimmerer likes to say, all flourishing is mutual.
Cuando uno sufre, los demás sufren. Y como un autor, ella menciona, can you repeat that?
Yeah.
The author.
The author Robin Wall Kimmerer, she says all flourishing is mutual.
La autora Robin
Kimmerer. Reading speaker.
Repeat the verse.
Cuando uno florece, todos florecen.
Yeah.
Cuando uno florece, todos florecen.
I do want you to leave you with a story of hope. I volunteered at a mobile food distribution this fall, and the line was long, the overwhelm was palpable, to feel it. And then from out of the line came an elderly couple carrying 2 pitchers of hot atole and a stack of cups. And silently, they began going down the line and handing every single volunteer a cup. And then they came to me, and my blue eyes met their brown eyes, and our hands touched. And in that moment, nothing was present except love. I found an embrace from my elders that I desperately needed. And they found my love for human dignity that has been so lost. And for a moment, all we knew was welcome. From the little they had given much. And instead of fear, they led with love.
Ella comenta de ella ha estado apoyando para la distribución de comida en Kimberly. Y estaba ahí también. Y esta pareja ya de adultos mayores latina vinieron con jarras de atole. Estaba frío. Y vinieron y a cada quien que estuvimos ahí nos dieron nuestro vasito de atole. Y ella comenta que eso para nosotros, yo lo comparto, fue amor. Y vinieron a traer lo poco que tenían a compartirnos y fue amor a la comunidad. Y ella fue enorme ese sentimiento que sentí.
I'm almost done. In our small suburb, this kind of love has multiplied. We've seen our community come together. Countless residents, they keep their eyes out for the danger for their neighbors. As they drive to work, they take their children to school, they run errands. We have collected and delivered groceries and medicine to those stuck inside. We pull money together to support the families who have lost a loved one. We call our congressional representatives. We celebrate the value of our diversity in our town. And despite the seeds of division being sown by our own upper government's leaders, I'm not talking about you,
This kind of unity is being embodied and lived out on our streets and all around our nation. My children dream of a day when America is truly known by its welcome, when authority is held to serve, and when peace has taken deep, deep root in our bones.
Okay. Back to the program.
Pedro.
Yeah, do you want to translate?
Sure. Y I'll summarize. En nuestros suburbios, hemos visto el amor multiplicado. Muchos residentes cuidan a sus vecinos, ayudándoles de muchas diferentes maneras, aunque hay división que está sembrado por algunos de nuestro gobierno. La unidad que vemos en esta comunidad y en otras comunidades de nuestra nación es lo que quiero que mis hijos puedan conocer.
My sons are out again today. I'm tracking them in Minneapolis. But they are joined by the increasing many who are placing their bodies on the line. This administration and these agents mean to make us hate. They mean to make us fear, make us angry, and cross over into self-protection. But the agents have missed something, because alongside the dreadful stories in our history books that evaporate our children's innocence, and I hope serve to inoculate them to recognize racialized violence and hatred, amidst the injuries of the past, our children are being introduced by our teachers to the humans who could see something more beautiful amidst devastation. Their words, their witness, their legacies spur us onward to a depth of love that cannot be overcome, because love wins always, and their hope is my hope too. Someday, I want to tell the children who gather, when my own are grown up, evil came and it fought hard. But we countered with peace and with love, and children, we won. Woo!
Mis hijos otra vez están en Minnesota vigilando ahí. Y pues la administración y los agentes federales quieren producir el odio, quieren producir el miedo y quieren provocar el enojo. Pero lo que no han visto ellos, lo que no saben ellos es que en medio de toda la maldad que está pasando, en medio de todos los dolores, nuestros hijos están viendo muchos seres humanos que están respondiendo con amor, y el amor siempre vence. Y esto es mi esperanza. Un día, cuando mis hijos son grandes, espero poder decir a mis nietos, la maldad vino y la maldad dio batalla, pero nosotros respondimos con paz y amor y ganamos.
Hi, my name is Olivia Lawrenson. I am currently an 8th grader at middle school. I went to Gary and I'm his teacher, and for a long time, this teacher was one of my favorite teachers. I really liked taking his class. I liked the way he taught us, and I trusted him. And that kind of hurts now, knowing that I lost that trust in him.
And I've seen how ICE and how this government, how our country, it's breaking apart our people and how it's hurting people, especially in this community. I have friends who are scared. I have friends whose parents are scared. And I'm scared because I don't know what I can do to take that extra step and to be there for them and to help them. I want to be able to tell people that I helped, and I don't know how I can do that when I myself am scared of the government put in place.
Ella es una estudiante en un clases con este maestro del pasado. Era uno de sus maestros favoritos de ella, pero ahora esa confianza se lo ha quebrantado. Ella tiene miedo porque sus compañeros tienen miedo. Ella quiere saber qué puede hacer ella para ayudar. El miedo de ella es no saber qué hacer y tiene miedo de este gobierno, lo que está pasando. Y es mucho su temor de ella, ya no confía en este maestro.
Olivia, is that right? Olivia. First, thank you for being here today. That's one action you took today. You know, you told us that you weren't sure what to do to help. Standing in front of a crowd, speaking into a microphone, and telling your truth, that your trust was shattered by a teacher, and that you're afraid for your friends and their families. That is a huge action that you took today. So let's give.
Para la representante dijo que exactamente ahorita lo que está haciendo aquí el estado de actitud, hablando acerca de este problema y sus sentimientos, que tiene miedo y que ya perdió confianza en este maestro. Eso es muy poderoso lo que está haciendo ella, muy importante.
It's like a ripple effect. One person your age speaks out, another person that you might not even know is watching you, sees you speak, then they speak, then someone else speaks. That is change. Like that, you are a change maker. All the children here who stood up and spoke, you're a change maker. And you're also standing up for your school community by saying, I'm scared. We come from a place of privilege, you and I, that a lot of people in this room don't come from. And when we stand up and we say this is not okay, it makes a ripple effect. And that warm blanket that Senator Villa talked about, we're all a part of that, putting our hands on that blanket.
Eso hace un efecto común cuando ella, como alguien de los estudiantes, como ella que habla, luego otros estudiantes y otras personas lo van a hacer, comentar de sus miedos, de sus temores, de lo que está pasando, y ella no tiene confianza de su maestro. Y personas como ellos que hay cierto modo de privilegio, es importante que sí inicien ellos ese primer paso para hablar, para que los demás lo sigan. Thank you.
I was just gonna say, my social studies teacher, I have a really great social studies teacher this year, and he's been teaching us a lot about current events and about stuff in the past. And we talked about the Great Depression and how lots of Mexican Americans were deported because they were seen to be taking up the jobs that we deserved, which isn't fair, it isn't true. And my teacher says that history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. And right now, history is rhyming, and I wish it wouldn't, because that's not okay, because it's breaking apart a community all over again after we had to build it back up.
Sounds like you have an amazing teacher, and maybe one day you'll be one too. Could only hope.
Or we're over there.
Ella dijo que tiene un maestro en estudios sociales que es su favorita ahora. Y han hablado de temas como la gran depresión de este país y que de esa época empezaron a deportar y repatriar a mexicanos americanos, que porque estaban tomando todos los trabajos de los estadounidenses. Esos son temas que ella está cumpliendo ahora y este maestro está incluyendo positivamente.
Before you go, and then I hear from you. I think you brought up a really good point. Right now, our focus is on one teacher that has shattered our trust. But a way that we can take action is by celebrating the teachers that are changing our lives. You just did by speaking here today. So I think that could be a community action that we work on, is celebrating the amazing teachers in D33. So I'm putting that on one of our action items. Please go ahead.
My name is Audrey Erickson, and I'm also an 8th grader at Lehman. And I also went to Gary, and his teacher was my teacher for all my years. And all my years at the elementary school, he even went to the school plays that I was in last year. I have 2 siblings at Gary still, so they're at home today. And he was very much a favorite teacher by a lot of students, especially among the boys, because they thought he was so cool. And just in general, it's shocking to see the truth be let out about what he really thinks about the current events in our country. And I think for me, it also brings up, there's some confusion because much like I have the same history teacher, and he was our history teacher, social studies teacher, was very much sure to communicate to the class about his sympathy and just sadness about the events when ICE was in Chicago. And it was very clear to share that he is someone that you can come to. And to see this teacher at Gary be so encouraging to what ICE has done is a bit jarring, especially when you know what community we are and for how long he's been in our community. And it poses questions like how far would he have gone? And how is it like a football game where it's all it is, just go ICE? Or is it actually how passionate are you at that? And would you have called ICE on a student? How far would you have taken this opinion? And I think as sad as it is to see this truth be revealed and kind of this image of the future shattered in a way, it's not refreshing, but it's enlightening to see who you can trust in that situation. And it again poses the question of how far he would have gone with his beliefs.
Ella comenta que ella también es estudiante compañera, y tuvo clases con este maestro, varios años. Él fue un maestro que todos, pues, se llevaban bien con él, especialmente los niños. Fue un shock saber recientemente su opinión que él expresó con los eventos que están pasando ahora. Y él comenta que cómo es posible que sabiendo que la comunidad que somos y los estudiantes que hay, haya dicho lo que ha dicho. Dice, a lo mejor, tal vez fue como un grito, como en un juego de fútbol, pero hasta dónde llega su pasión por ese comentario que hizo. ¿Qué podría hacer? La confianza ya se quebrantó. Su maestro de historia que comparte con la jovencita, ha expresado apoyo empatía con nuestra comunidad. Ha expresado que ellos estudiantes pueden acudir con él, que él es un aliado para ellos. Entonces, ella comenta que ya la confianza de este maestro ya no existe.
Audrey, I wanna say, sorry, Mr. Mayor, I'll be brief and then, let you jump in, but I want you to, I don't know that there's any other students in line. I hope a few more of you, if you wanna say anything, can jump up and get in line for the mic, but you know, your words are so wise. And the words of the children who got on the mic today are so wise, and the bravery of the children and students who are in the room today is so strong. And the bravery of your classmates that keep going to school every day despite leaving their hearts at home, wondering if they're gonna come home by their mom and dad's home. You all are living in a time that is so awful. And we, the adults, are failing. But you all are our hope. You all are my North Star. You know, everywhere I go, I say that my favorite title has always been Messiah, because that was a school social work school. Gary, Curry or Wagner. And you are the North Star. And so every day when I was in the schools, and I'm sure all of the teachers in this room will tell you that this is true, you all teach us so much more than we could ever teach you. You all teach us resilience, and you teach us to look at things in different ways. So I'm gonna just ask you to continue to partner with us. Keep teaching us, keep teaching me. And in every space that you're at, use your voice. Every space that you find yourself, use your voice. Learn from this moment when you are on social media. Learn from this moment when your friends are on social media. When you want to respond immediately, don't. When you want to share something immediately, don't. Right? Behaviors have consequences. And right now, I see in you and in all of your classmates and in all of the D33 students, the brightest that we have to offer the world. And one day, everyone in this room, hear me out. One day, there will be a president of the United States that comes from West Chicago, Illinois. And I hope that I am here.
Está felicitando a la estudiante y a todos los estudiantes que vinieron a hablar. Ella felicita su valor de hablar por nuestra comunidad y sus compañeros. Muchas cosas, mucho podemos aprender de estos estudiantes, de los jóvenes, aprendemos más de ellos, porque los adultos no hemos estado fallando. Entonces, la anima a sentir cómo está aprendiendo, involucrarse y la senadora menciona que tal vez algún día el próximo presidente de Estados Unidos pudiera ser alguien de Guatemala.
So I do have something I want to respond to, and first of all, Audrey and Olivia are good friends of my daughter, so I'm so proud. She's got awesome friends. But going back to what Olivia said and what you both mentioned about your social studies teacher and learning from the past. You know, we've probably all heard the statement about those that don't learn from the past are destined to repeat it. And the statistics that Olivia mentioned, or the history that she mentioned, has a very specific past here in West Chicago. So yes, in the West Chicago has always been an immigrant town. German immigrants, Irish immigrants, Mexican immigrants who came here mostly to work on the railroads. And so we encouraged these immigrants to come and to work here on the railroads. And then the 1929 stock market crashes and we go into Great Depression, And as always, we are looking for a scapegoat for who we can blame. And there was this tremendous national tendency to blame the immigrants and say, hey, they're taking our jobs. What you may not know, and I see Ms. Phelan in the back there, she can tell these stories better than I can, but I've heard some of them from her, our resident historian. So in the country as a whole, during that time, there were 600,000 Mexican Americans who were forcibly repatriated, basically deported. And scholars estimate that over 50% of those were American citizens.
Yeah.
Who were deported. But the local aspect of that, which I think is extremely important for us to know, is that West Chicago in the 1920s had a thriving Mexican American community. Life was not easy. There was this huge boxcar community, but thriving Mexican American community. By the end of the 30s, there were only 2 Mexican American families left in West Chicago. Only 2. And so the community that we see today is really a result of a second wave of immigration that started around the 50s. Something went wrong at that point. There was these national pressures like we have now. But our community, I don't know what happened, but we did not protect our own. We did not protect our own because all but 2 families were either deported or run off for fear of these mass roundups. So let's be different. We are not helpless, as we said. And West Chicago is, I think, a unique community that has not perfect by any means, but has shown a tremendous desire to care for our own and to look out for each other. And so let's be different. And no matter what is going on in our nation, let's be different than that generation in the 1930s, where a whole community was essentially wiped out. And that's why we're here. So many of you are speaking up. And we do have power. There's all kinds of things we can't change. All of us experience that same frustration of wishing that we could help in bigger ways and greater ways. And there's these things that are outside of our control. But each one of us has a sphere in which we have influence. And I think that West Chicago is unique. Maybe not unique, but it's special. And let's be that. Let's be that community that protects our own and that doesn't let a repeat of the 1920s happen.
For an interpretation by the mayor, I'm going to say goodbye. I have to leave. And I really appreciate each and every one of you for being here, but I would be remiss not to mention Casa Michoacán, who is the heart and soul of our community, who helped in organizing this today. Thank you, and for all of the work that you have done here in West Chicago for our community. We also have Despertar Latino, who has been at the forefront of phone call after phone call after phone call of ICE sightings. People made visible. Thank you for everything that you do as well for West Chicago. I know the school district is not here. I know we are going to hold them accountable. I know we are going to go and show up en masse to that school board meeting. And I also wanted to remember that the heart of the school district has always been the students and the teachers. And we do have a voice, and we will make it heard, and we will make it known. This is not the end of what we're doing moving forward. Muchas gracias a todos por estar aquí con nosotros. Quiero darles el agradecimiento a Casa Michoacán por todo lo que hacen por el pueblo, por la comunidad. Gracias, Angie. Gracias, José Luis, por estar aquí con nosotros el día de hoy y por todo el trabajo que siempre han hecho por el pueblo. También a Despertar Latino por estar al frente de todas las llamadas de ICE, cuando estamos viendo ICE aquí en la comunidad. Gracias por su trabajo y su colaboración. People Made Visible también por todo el trabajo que siempre han hecho desde hace mucho tiempo aquí en West Chicago. Se les agradece por todo su apoyo. Yo sé que no está aquí la escuela, no hay alguien oficialmente del distrito aquí con nosotros, pero quiero recordarles que el pueblo siempre ha sido, el corazón del pueblo siempre ha sido las escuelas, pero las escuelas es los estudiantes y los maestros. Entonces, esta plática no termina aquí. Vamos a hacer que nuestras voces sean escuchadas en el próximo, la próxima junta de la mesa directiva de las escuelas. Los quiero mucho, disculpen mucho que me tengo que ir antes de que terminen todos de hablar, pero muchas gracias, se los agradezco. Van a estar aquí en las manos del alcalde, de la representante Hershauer, y también mi equipo va a seguir aquí con ustedes. Gracias.
Thank you, Senator. Brevemente quiero decir lo que dije en español. Ah, este, primero que estamos muy orgullosos de las que hablaron, son buenas amigas de mi hija y mi hija tiene tan buenas amigas, pero que yo quiero como alcalde anotar lo que dijo Lidia y lo que dijo Adri de nuestra historia. Muchos saben que nuestra comunidad siempre ha sido una comunidad de inmigrantes de Irlanda, de Alemania, de México. Y muchos han escuchado esta historia de que en los años antes de la Gran Depresión vinieron muchos para trabajar aquí en los ferrocarriles. Y pues en el 1929 empezó la Gran Depresión. Y como siempre, buscamos desafortunadamente a alguien para culpar por nuestros problemas económicos. Y lo que era fácil era culpar a los inmigrantes. Oh, están tomando nuestros trabajos. Entonces, en esos años, de los años 30, hubo más que 600,000 personas que fueron deportados y estimamos que más que 50% de ellos eran ciudadanos de los Estados Unidos que fueron deportados a México. Pero lo que tal vez no saben es que West Chicago tiene una historia específica de esto, porque teníamos en estos años una comunidad vibrante americano-mexicano. Pero después de los años 30, después de las deportaciones y la gente huyeran porque estaban agarrando a todos, solo quedaron 2 familias mexicanas aquí en Chicago. Y lo que vemos como comunidad americano-mexicano aquí en Chicago hoy es resulta de la segunda onda de inmigración en los que empezó en los años 50. Pero mi punto es esto. Como dicen los que no aprenden de la historia, lo repitan, que no lo repetimos. En estos años, yo no sé qué pasó, pero no protegimos a los de nuestra comunidad. Solo quedaron 2 familias. Que esto sea diferente. Hay presiones nacionales hoy en día, como en este tiempo, pero nosotros sí podemos ser diferentes y yo creo que la comunidad de West Chicago es especial, en que yo veo mucho deseo de cuidarnos como comunidad los unos a los otros. Entonces, que aprendemos de esto y que seamos diferentes esta generación, que no permitimos que esto pase a nuestra comunidad. Gracias.
Thank you for that. Sorry, I'm gonna pastor your lesson there, Mayor. But I'm actually gonna start in Spanish.
Great.
Creo que ya los demás han hablado del clima político en el cual estamos y para pues muchos es nuestra realidad, ¿verdad? Así nos despertamos, así nos vamos a dormir. Igual de los sentimientos de que todos tenemos libertad de expresarnos, freedom of speech. Más sin embargo, las palabras tienen consecuencias y es la razón por la que estamos aquí el día de hoy. Yo por mi parte no quiero que el dolor y el coraje y los sentimientos que estamos sintiendo por nuestra comunidad y pues nuestros niños aquí se pierdan, ¿verdad? Porque aquí no está el mundo. Hay muchos procedimientos que a lo mejor es mucha burocracia, ¿verdad? Que no nos permite desahogarnos. y que tenemos que esperar para que haya esa board meeting, pero creo que un action item me gustaría saber es cómo podemos pedir una board meeting de emergencia, ¿verdad? Si es que esa posibilidad, si ustedes pueden, ¿cómo se dice? Advocate for that emergency meeting to be held, that would be great. Porque demandamos transparencia, ¿verdad? Sabemos, bueno, pues legalmente ellos se tienen que cubrir porque ellos son una organización al final del día. Tienen que cuidar sus intereses. Igual el maestro, él tiene sus propios intereses y él a lo mejor agarra un abogado para también defender su posición. Más sin embargo, la gente que está aquí estamos por los niños, estamos como comunidad y personas que nos importa lo que está pasando en nuestra comunidad con nuestros niños y quién está alrededor de ellos. No como organizaciones o como individuos. Les animo que envíen esos correos, ¿verdad? Que pidamos acciones y que asistan a la próxima reunión, que creo que es, si me permiten, creo que es febrero 5.
Yeah.
Febrero 5 en Lima, en Medosco, la hora no la tengo. ¿Verdad? Manden esos correos si pueden, y si no pueden correos, también existe la letra, ¿verdad? Mándenles cartas. Y pues terminar con que no se pierda la fe, ¿verdad? De todo lo que está pasando en el mundo, no crean que no tienen voz. Busquen a su comunidad, vean cómo pueden estar ahí para su comunidad, que si no hay comida, que si no tienen luz, que si esto, que si lo otro, encuentren esa comunidad. Porque eso es lo que ellos quieren, ¿verdad? Quieren que estemos espantados, quieren que no nos cuidemos unos a los otros, pero este es el tiempo donde comprobamos al revés, ¿verdad? Y hacemos lo contrario. So that was in Spanish. And now I'm going to switch over to English. I think everyone already talked about the political climate that we are in. And a lot of us, this is our reality, right? This is what we wake up to. This is what we go to sleep to. And about, the freedom of speech, but freedom of speech only goes so far because words have consequences. And that's why we're here today. I don't want all this anger, hurt, and feelings that we are feeling today in our community for our kids to be lost here. I know there's a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of red tape that we have to get through to see justice, but we demand transparency from the board because they're looking out for their interests and the teacher is looking out for his interests, but who looks out for the interests of our individual children or our individuals themselves? So that's what we are asking for from the board, as again, they are not here today. So I encourage everyone to send those emails, send letters, maybe even show up if you guys have to. And I know that there's a lot of talk about don't show up, don't protest. You cannot tell people how to feel. Right? So we have to keep that in mind. And not to lose faith. And think that you can't do anything about it. You can join rapid responses teams, you can join a mutual aid, you can give money to mutual aid, to show up at a homeless shelter, soup kitchens. There's a lot of work we can be done. So look for community and be in community. Y la parte que no dije en español, anyways, creo que ya lo dije todo.
Can I just respond really quickly to one thing you said at the end? You're right, we can't tell people how to feel, we can't, and we're certainly not gonna try.
Can I say that in Spanish?
That was the part you didn't say in Spanish, right?
La parte que no dije es que hay muchas, ¿verdad? En Facebook o en conversaciones que les están diciendo, no vayan a la protesta, no hagan eso, pero la realidad es que nosotros no podemos decir a la gente cómo contener esas emociones, ¿verdad? Nosotros no podemos decir, pues no hagas eso o no hagas lo otro. Pero la gente es individua y no podemos decirles qué es lo que tienen y qué no tienen que hacer. Es una individua respuesta a lo que ellos quieran hacer.
And just really quick responding to that, because I did make a statement on my public message about asking our community not to protest in front of the schools. And yes, I'm never gonna be telling people don't protest or anything like that. But I guess I wanted to say thank you for community for doing things in the way that you have today. My concern with that was that I didn't want the hammer to fall on the kids who are already suffering. And I didn't want the kids to have to be escorted through a line of protesters to get to their school, particularly because these are the kinds of things which right now can easily feed into a situation where we have all kinds of people that come from outside our community with varying agendas. And so my desire in that request was that we just that we keep the kids at the center, the kids' well-being at the center of all of our responses. So there's so many different ways we can respond. But that's kind of my request is let's just keep the kids' well-being at the center of everything that we do. En español rapidito, porque yo sí fui alguien que dijo, por favor, no protesten en frente de las escuelas. Pero estoy muy de acuerdo que no podemos decir, mandar a la gente cómo deben de sentir y definitivamente no voy a decir que no protestan ni nada así. Mi deseo en esto, y muchas gracias por la manera en que respondieron, pero mi deseo era que los niños sean nuestra motivación primaria en todas las maneras en que respondimos y no quería causar más trauma para los niños, por ejemplo, teniendo que pasar por mucha gente con letreros y gritando cosas para entrar en su escuela, porque ya han sido traumatizados. Y pues especialmente si llegan gente de afuera de nuestra comunidad gritando cosas y todo eso. Entonces, yo quiero decir gracias por la manera en que respondieron y claro que siempre tenemos en este país, gracias a Dios, la habilidad de protestar, de juntarnos, de unirnos, de usar nuestra voz. Y yo creo que nuestra comunidad en todo ese proceso ha sido un modelo de esto. Y estoy orgulloso de esta comunidad. And I think in the last 4 months, our community has been a great model of using their voice in the right kinds of ways. And I'm really appreciative of that. Gracias.
Buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Irene Carrillo, trabajo en Casa Michoacán, pero también soy madre de un estudiante que ahorita está en high school, pero también participa en middle school, en el ballet folclórico. Estoy aquí también representando a todas las madres inmigrantes que no pudieron estar aquí hoy. Y no están aquí porque tienen que levantarse, salir temprano a trabajar y no pudieron estar aquí, pero ellas quieren ser escuchadas.
She is Irene Carrillo, she's part of Casa Michoacán as well. And when she is here, she has a student in high school, but also participates in many activities at even middle school. And she's here for other parents as well, representing them because they could not be here today because they're doing what everyday parents do. And so she's here to speak for them as well.
Hoy nos reunimos como comunidad en la ciudad de Huachicarro, con un llamado claro y necesario al respeto mutuo sin importar la raza, el idioma o el origen.
She is here, the message for the community is here speaking for them. And the mutual respect, very important in our community.
Nuestros niños merecen crecer en un entorno seguro, digno y respetuoso. Ellos son el futuro de nuestra ciudad y como adultos tenemos la responsabilidad de darles el ejemplo. Si no somos capaces de convivir en unidad, respeto e igualdad, ¿cómo podemos enseñarle valores, la justicia, la empatía y el sentido de la equidad?
We have teach our children the respect and dignity they deserve. We need to learn how to respect each other and live as a community together. And how are we going to teach our children these things when we cannot do this ourselves?
La educación y la convivencia comunitaria deben ser espacios libres de discriminación, donde cada persona se sienta valorada, escuchada y protegida. Es responsabilidad de todas familias, instituciones, líderes comunitarios, fomentar un ambiente basado en el respeto y la inclusión.
Schools and institutions should be places where people are welcome, where all children are included, the diversity. We should have institutions, welcome our communities. We should have our institutions make us feel safe.
El respeto no es opcional, es la base de la comunidad fuerte, justa y unida, y el legado que dejaremos a nuestras futuras generaciones.
Respect is very important, and it is something we leave future generations. We should lead by example, by being each other.
Queremos que a nuestros hijos que no se les enseñe el racismo, al contrario, que se les enseñe a crear comunidad.
We want that our children are not taught racism, but they are taught to live as a community.
Gracias.
Okay, so let me make one comment, and we're gonna kind of transition here. First of all, thank you so much for everyone being here, and I want everyone who wants to speak to be heard, and so I will stay here and listen to anyone who wants to speak and didn't get a chance to say what they want to say. I will stay here until I have a meeting at 7 p.m. So I have to leave before that, right? But I'll be here until everybody who wants to speak gets a chance to speak. But what I'm going to suggest is we take a kind of a 15-minute, we kind of close this this part of our session, and then again informally, I will be here to talk to anybody who wants to after that, and the other leaders can do whatever they need to do. Lo que estoy pensando es que terminamos esta porción de nuestro tiempo. Muchas gracias por su participación. Y yo quiero decir que estoy dispuesto de quedarme aquí. Tengo una reunión a las 7 de la tarde, pero hasta esta hora estoy dispuesto a quedarme y escuchar de cualquier persona que quiere hablar. Pero vamos a tomar una pausa. Los que quieren irse pueden ir, y pues en 15 minutos yo voy a regresar para escuchar cualquier persona que quiere hablar más.
Thank you. And before we break, I just want to again thank you all for being here and thank the organization, Casa Michoacan, Dr. Latino, People Made Visible, and all the community members that were here. And I want to go over some action items to leave you with and that we will follow up with. Number one, on the board right here and right here are links to the change.org petition. If you want to take a picture of them, you can go online and make your voice heard that way at the district. We will also put that on our social medias. Number two, emailing the school board at that one email address that we talked about at WeGo33.org. If you want to urge them to have an emergency board meeting, that was brought up. I think that's a great idea. The school board meeting is on February 5th. We should all attend that. The idea of donating resources to local organizations that are working with our immigrant community. I think that was an excellent action item. Let's think of ways to celebrate our teachers. We'll be following up with action on that. And I just want to highlight the Winfield Township Mental Health Board, which maybe Sheila could speak to, but they're taking community input. I mean, so at the heart of everything that we're doing right now is the mental health of our community, right? The trust that was shattered, how can we move forward? This mental health board is taking input from the community. It's with an online survey. Is that still live?
Oh, yeah, and it won't shut down anytime soon.
Okay, so another thing we will follow up with is for if you live in Winfield Township, take this survey so that we can use the resources that we have to meet the needs of the mental health issues in our community, the trauma that we have all absorbed over the past few months, over a lifetime, if we're gonna be honest. That resource is available too. So all of these things I just said, we will put online so you can reference them. And again, this is just the first community conversation. We will follow up and we will be meeting with you all. So thank you so much.
And
Varios, oh, sorry. Hay varios puntos que ella mencionó que podemos accionar después de esto, como reunirnos con la Junta Administrativa del Distrito 33. Estos puntos que ella mencionó van a estar en nuestros sitios, en nuestras páginas, para que ustedes puedan accionar y acompañarnos. Y tal vez podamos tener una junta con el distrito 33 en la fecha, o la siguiente reunión es el jueves 5 de febrero. Podemos a todos ahí también. También recordarles que el municipio de Winfield Township tiene programa para salud mental. Entonces, el sitio web de Winfield Township podemos encontrar esos servicios que ellos ofrecen, especialmente en estos tiempos tan dramáticos que estamos pasando.
and take a sign, put it up in your house.
Yeah.
Y llevan un letrero para poner en su casa. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can I just say something? Don't
Yeah.
forget that today is the day that we must call Congress to tell them that we don't want ICE anymore. Please call, please call. All you have to do is dial and say, I do not approve for more funds for ICE. That's all I wanted to say.
En el proceso.
Ahora, escucha.
Han sido esto de una manera como su partido o algo, sí, y esto no está, pero igual que nosotros vemos que aunque es muy importante